So Kelly, I'm so glad that you're here with me today to have this conversation. And I almost wish we would have hit record before now, because the conversation we were having prior to this is just so good, as it always is when we connect. So one of the things that we talk about a lot in authentic leadership is that through how we work with one another, those of us who have gone through the training, and how we work with our clients, we connect more deeply with ourselves so that we can connect more authentically and effectively with others. And so I'm curious, from that perspective, how has working with Authentic Leadership Global impacted your own personal development?
I mean, there's so many ways. There's so many ways that it's impacted my personal development, but I think it's become a real guidepost and tool for me that I use in many ways to navigate life, navigate business. From a personal standpoint, the journey over the years, I would say I'm more grounded and more centered, and a deeper sense of peace within myself. I'm definitely a better leader. I mean, my team often calls me boss babe now. And it's a place of being softer. So as a woman in a business world, of not having to wear masks or be something that I'm not. So I can say, I've been a business owner for 20 years, a career of almost 30 in the industry that I'm in. And as a young woman, I'd probably show up more of who I thought I should be, what I thought I needed to be. And that being said, there'd be, maybe not obvious, but pieces of myself that I felt that I couldn't show up with. So the work over the years has been a place to give myself permission. I know I keep saying the word authentic, but a real genuine place of who I am and how I show up in the world, and not apologizing for showing how I show up in the world. And so I would say there's very few masks, if any, anymore. There's some crazy stuff that comes out of my mouth in business meetings, and it's not just with age and wisdom. The wisdom comes with having the work, and also staying dedicated to the work from a personal growth standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, and that really resonates for me, because we've been on this journey together for, I've been interacting with you now for over 8 years. And so that for me is a big piece of it, is that we continue to grow and develop by doing this work with one another as facilitators and coaches of the materials, and then with our clients as well. So that takes me to the next question that I want to ask you, because one of the things that I've always admired about how Tana Hemingsley founded this company, and I used to always tease her about what a prolific producer of materials she was, because she certainly produced a lot of materials that we can pick and choose to use in our business practice. And it's open source. So each of us has put our own flavor onto how we then take it out to work with our clients. So I'm curious, because you have a rather unique approach, certainly different than anyone else who has come through the training. So how have you used the materials in your business?
I would say there's like 3 places that I use the materials. So one is with myself. 2 is with my team, my employees. And then the third is also the place of like with my clients and client base. So from a personal standpoint, like if I'm just to pull out like a few of the pieces of, I'm going to say in the core foundation of that program, is, you know, something as simple as my day to day in my weekly day timer are my 5 core values. And every week on a Sunday, I will look down in write down kind of how those, like, did I live up to my values? Like what's working, what's not working, to then carry forward into the next week. And I mean, that can be something as simple as, from a personal standpoint, of self-care, of, did I drink too much coffee? Do I need more water? Do I need to move? Do I need more sleep? To, am I showing up engaged at work? Because, for instance, meaningful work is one of my core values. The second way, if I was to say with my team, that's a biggie. There's so many there. I use the program even with them of onboarding as a development piece. So I'm not just their employer in terms of them showing up. I pay them to do a job. If they want it, it's an invitation. Not only am I their employer, but their coach, from work to personal life. So there's a growth place of then allowing them to show up authentically. And I mean, to be able to show up authentically, I mean, it takes dedication and it takes work, in terms of, like, if you take Tana's piece with the arc of intensity, to learn how to walk life in a more present way, and, you know, all of the tools and the awareness of how that is. So I mean, that has had an effect on my culture, of, we get to show up and be authentic. So, you know, there's an old adage of, like, leave your stuff at the door when you come to work. Well, we can talk about it and know what's going on, and then do what we need to do. But on the same hand, I'm going to say, hold ourselves tenderly, and others, when that expression is allowed. So that's just like one example, you know, with my team. With clients, it's from everything from everyday conversations of, you know, we can put on the shield of the business mask. And then there's a place of, like, when we let down that business mask, if we've got a business persona, when we're more authentic, my clients are more authentic. So that leads to some really intimate, and deep relations with my clients, because they can show up in any conversation because I'm mirroring it and modeling it to them, whether that's angry, whether that's mad, whether that's sad. And so the training with my team, because this is like how it all links together, is that my team's not taking a client's personal reaction as something they need to fix, but they can hold the space for that other person to show up who they are, while at the same time taking care of the business transaction. I mean, there's also, I'm going to say, from a sales standpoint, an organization, of a good part of how I show up in life, um, it's taken away a transactional, it just being a transactional um, place. Um, yeah.
Mm, thanks, Kelly. There's so much that you have shared in this very brief conversation, and I know that I want to delve more deeply into talking with you about values because that's such an important piece that you brought up. And you talked a little bit about this arc of intensity, and we need to share with any of our viewers about what is that and how can that have a strong impact on their lives, because I know that's been a big piece for me.
Yeah.
And you just so beautifully articulated exactly what I had opened this particular conversation with, about the importance of having that deeper connection with ourselves so that we can connect with others. And thank you so much for this time. I know that I always appreciate connecting with you.
My pleasure.